Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Slacking Off Show, the show that you're listening to when you should be doing something else. I'm your host, Nathan Wind. I'm joined by the one, the only, Cameron Messer.
Good morning.
We're also joined by the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. JP Gomez.
Good morning. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
That's right. We're recording this on Cinco de Mayo, and we also went out and saw Long Shot yesterday, starring Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron. Excuse me. Anyways, so what did you guys think? I found it to be relatively enjoyable. Did you guys find it to be cute, funny?
It's overall pretty enjoyable. I have some complicated thoughts about the movie though.
In what sense?
Where do I even begin? Well, first, I want to know what Cameron's thoughts on the movie are.
You know, for me with Seth Rogen, it's always either going to be a hit or miss.
Yeah.
And when I saw the trailer, first seen the trailer a few months ago, I was like, this is going to be a stupid comedy. But somehow, Seth Rogen has been able to make stupid comedies actually enjoyable. So I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a political rom-com. You know, so I found it real. I enjoyed it.
It had more heart.
I enjoyed it
than
more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I had a lot more heart than I expected the movie to have. Because with Seth Rogen, you know, after movies like The Interview and whatnot, they're all just ridiculous. And I kind of expected a little more ridiculousness than what we got. Sure, there was a lot of ridiculousness in it, but I feel like that it was balanced out very well with these rather touching moments at times. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, a lot of Seth Rogen's films are more buddy films, and this was a rom-com, you know, which was a nice change.
I would still say it's a buddy film, though, because it's in a way it's about these two becoming best friends and then growing into romantic partners.
It's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the movie kind of switches between the two. Like sometimes it has those elements of romantic comedy. Sometimes it acts like Charlize Theron is a bro, just like Seth Rogen. Because you mentioned that the movie is like very emotional, I guess at its core, and I do find it surprising how this movie does have some grounded moments when it's just Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron, but outside of that like kind of bubble, the movie just goes in all sorts of different directions.
You mean like with like Maggie and the little Indian guy in particular?
No, just like the whole fucking movie. The whole movie. It just goes in completely different fucking directions.
Oh yeah, because at the very beginning it starts off with like him and his friend. I don't remember.
No, not even that. Like the movie just starts in such a fucking like he's trying to be undercover, trying to like expose like this Nazi type of thing, and it's just stupid because he like grabs his phone that was taken from him, jumps out a window, lands right on a car,
and just walks.
Yeah, and he just walks. And meanwhile, the guys are just looking up from like 2 stories, and they're just like, "Whoa, what are we gonna do?"
I'm like, why don't you just chase this asshole?
We don't have stairs.
Yeah,
what?
right.
Yeah,
elevators, stairs. No, we're just gonna let him walk away.
Yeah, and not just walk away, but walk away very slowly.
Yeah, because he's injured.
Like that's how fucking crazy this movie is.
I mean, it's really interesting. Like I love the nice blend of, you know, a lot of times Seth Rogen films are just jokes, and funny comments, and you're just like, why would anyone ever say that? But this one, it had those moments, but also had those touching moments where you're like, oh, that's so sweet. Oh, I feel bad for that guy, but I see where she's coming from, you know. So it was that nice blend of seriousness, but funny, you know, funny moments that I enjoyed.
What do you think about the acting though? I mean, starring those two characters in particular, I thought they really did nail the roles that they were kind of given. You know, Seth Rogen's kind of this washed up journalist bum, and
he's not washed up. He's down. He's out of luck.
He's
right
pretty washed up, I would say. I mean, look at the guy. He wears this teal jacket for the first third of the movie.
I wouldn't say that's washed up. I'd say that's his style of the way he dresses. You know, he's a pothead, relaxed type of journalist who likes to have fun. He's not a, you know, suit and tie type of guy.
They
know,
really do try to
completely,
demonstrate-
completely which he kind of dresses like that in almost every movie except the interview.
Literally every movie.
Not to this extent.
Yeah,
Because I
no.
noticed how throughout the entire first half of the movie, he wears that jacket.
Yeah.
That teal jacket.
And I think because the writers just want to say like, okay, we don't want to really like elaborate too much on how much of a down in the dumps kind of guy. What if he just wears this one jacket
Yeah.
from America, from like Brooklyn to DC
Yeah.
to I don't fucking like
I mean,
Barcelona or something.
Yeah.
Like he went across the world in that jacket. It wasn't until Sweden. It wasn't until they went to Sweden that they realized, oh wait, you should probably change that jacket.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
even joke about it. They're like,
But-
do you have any like?
it also
other clothes?
kind of plays to like, here's this type of character that's completely opposite from his love interest in her type of world, you know, and
They're kind of both two halves of the same world, because the premise is, I don't think we've ever really talked about it. The premise is that Charlize Theron is a Secretary of State trying to run for president, and Seth Rogen is what was his name? Fred Flarsky?
Fred Farsky.
Flarsky?
Flarsky.
Fucking
Flarsky,
cartoon ass name. And he's a journalist. He's like a I forget the name, but he was one of those journalists that like gets fired and then he's like
Fired,
down
quit.
the dumps it.
yeah.
Yeah, and then at some party, at some function, they meet, and then
Yeah,
that's when things go from
They,
there.
but they also found out that they were like childhood friends. She used to babysit him when he was
Yeah.
12 and she was like 16.
That entire story, it's amazing how they managed to frame that story into this guy's boner when he was 13.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, she was really into your boner, man.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, you're 13-year-old boner." Well, she
Your
said it was
13-year-old
okay.
Boner.
You see a sad, you see a sad story. I see like a what did he say? What type of story?
Like
I don't
He's
know.
like,
Remember?
see
an
a-
awkward and
Yeah.
embarrassing story.
I see a winning story.
Oh yeah, I see your winning story. Yeah, dude, she was totally into your 13-year-old boner. Now you guys should totally hook up as 30-year-olds.
And there's the movie.
Yeah, that's basically the whole the whole catalyst for this movie.
Yeah, that whole scene was ridiculous, but man, it was funny.
It was.
That was probably one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Was this stupid flashback, and then her boyfriend walks in the room, saw him with this 13-year-old boner, and just
He's
takes
like,
her.
ha, and then that's it.
Yep, that's it. That's how they met.
Mhm.
But but
I feel like Seth Rogen is that type of person in his writing style, or the writers that he brings on are like type of people that say things that a lot of people want to say, but you never hear them say them in public. Like you wouldn't have that conversation in public.
there was a lot of things in this movie that you wouldn't do in public. But no, I think that brings a very good point, and I think that's really important given Charlize's character, as the Secretary of State, who has this very staged life according to the general public.
Yeah.
Right? She doesn't really know who she is. She has her assistant, this little Indian guy, who's got her life and day literally planned out to a T every 15 minutes.
Felt
You know.
exhausted when she was,
Yeah,
he was
they
reading
and
that
they,
off.
they highlight that her life basically revolves around whatever schedule is dictated to her. So there really isn't a personal life.
She's not
there.
really herself.
Exactly.
Everything was tailored to. She was crafted to have this image, to have this presence, to have this type of love life, and to believe in these certain things. Where, what's the character's name?
Fred.
He's just that's who he is. He has no one to tell him like you need to be this specific way.
I think that's what's kind of neat about this pairing, though, as unlikely as it is, it forces her to get a personal life.
Right.
It forces her to get in touch with who
They help
she
each other.
really is. Yeah.
They help each other in the sense of like he sees that, working with her and being with her, I can write for more of a. I don't have to I can write the way I want to write, but for a greater good. Where her character is like, I can kind of just believe in myself, and you see that towards the end. Like, I don't care if me dating you wrecks my image.
Well, they don't start off dating.
Well, yeah, of course, but that's why I said near the end of the movie.
Oh no, no. Well, let's give them some context where like after they meet and kind of like
They just hook up.
no,
That's what they do.
not kind of like immediately. Once they get reunited at the party, she needs a new speechwriter and he's out of a job, so she hires him on as a speechwriter in hopes that he would be able to help her come across as more humorous and personal.
Although that was kind of like a sort of like open, and not really open, but just like that was what she said to her aides, but there was kind of an ulterior motive to that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The fact that she's still kind of interested in him.
Did you kind of get the vibe that she was interested from the very beginning? Because I kind of got it, but I wasn't really sure.
A little bit, but the movie just is kind of muddled because of what I said before, the whole wackiness of the whole world that they live in. Like the fact that 5 minutes beforehand, he just tripped down a flight of stairs.
Oh yeah.
And the next couple minutes of the movie is
Let's
elaborating how stupid that is and how much the internet has capitalized on that.
I didn't get that
That's
vibe
the
at
guy
first.
we're gonna hire.
Yeah,
The
that's
guy
the guy
that just fell down the stairs and
in this really shitty jacket.
I got the vibe after, essentially when she first saw his writing, or she was like, "Oh, this is really good." Like, not before that. Like when they were on Air Force One, and she's holding up the laptop. She's like, "Oh yeah, this is really good." Then I kind of started getting that vibe, but not right away.
right away I was like, why would I know the plot kind of demands that you hire this journalist, but I was really kind of like, I'm not buying that you really want to hire him, and we know it's because the ulterior motive, but it still didn't strike a chord with me. You know what I mean? It seemed very unbelievable in that sense. But I mean, the whole movie is.
Yeah, it's funny that you say it's unbelievable, but that's like that's the most believable.
Did you guys notice that her two assistants, like her, I guess it's her chief of staff, and then her assistant, started fading away into the back. At the beginning, he was pushed behind them, and then later on, he moved in front of them.
I did notice that. I also noticed that their attitude towards him kind of shifted a little bit throughout the movie. Not very much, or at least with Maggie, that one assistant, the female one that was like against him from the beginning.
The other one is just kind of there.
Yeah, he's literally there. And then there's that one part where, like, the only line I remember him ever speaking was when he turned to Maggie and he goes, "What's your favorite sexual position?" When they were walking down the street in one of those countries, and he was asking secretary like the personal questions. He goes, "Oh, so what's your favorite sex position?" And then right behind him, the two assistants asked each other. That was like the only line I remember him speaking because he's just there.
I remember him talking about like, "Oh, I can't see after the schedule."
Oh yeah, I don't know how to look past the itinerary. Such ridiculous.
I guess that speaks to his character.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the quote unquote villain of this story? You have the president who's kind of like the villain, but it's this newspaper dude like Wobski.
Oh, yeah. He's a really obvious parody of Rupert Murdoch.
He is. Yeah.
It's really obvious that he's a parody, like him
and Trump. And I'm guessing the president is Trump.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that the president in this movie is Donald Trump. Although I will say, Bob Odenkirk has 100 times more grace than the actual president, because he's like, I'm not gonna offer this. He's like, I'm gonna move on. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty obvious what this movie's motivations and inspirations, or rather, what their characters are supposed to be. Like Bob Odenkirk's character is supposed to be Donald Trump. Charlize Theron is supposed to be like a sort of Hillary Clinton type of thing. I think it was Wembley or something like that. He's supposed to be like the leader and founder of Fox News, that sort of thing.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that last part with the Fox News part. I didn't keep a track of the owner of it, but it was very obvious.
Okay. Because he had his name, and then his name was on the one news sites that was like, hey, she should become president, but you know what she should do is be in the kitchen first.
I remember
Like, that
this.
type of shit.
Okay.
Like, it's really obvious, like what this is supposed to be.
You know, those two were probably my least favorite
The president.
out of performances.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't think either of them really gave a strong performance. I think they were just ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, but even though this was a rom-com type of film, it stayed kind of true in terms of how politics are done. You know, you have the Secretary of State who is very big on helping the environment. It's pretty much her whole plot in this whole film is that, hey, I want to stand behind this kind of green initiative and I've got everything I want, but I can lose it all. And I'm willing to sacrifice this all at first. You know, she goes from, you know, telling the speechwriter she hires, you know, no, like this is going to change the world and everything. And then when the stakes get high and she could lose her chance of winning the presidency, she gives up what she believes in to have that ultimate power until the end of the movie, of course, where she changes her mind. But it's kind of, it stays true to like the whole political theme. This is how deals work.
Yeah, there's always like some shady stuff going on behind the scenes and ultimatums being made. I think it's really good that they at least touched on that, given that she decided she wanted to run for president, and there's a lot that kind of comes with it that the general public doesn't really know about. We hear about it, but you know.
Yeah.
And I think their personal relationship connects to that because there's an overall theme of compromise.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
They did talk about compromise quite a bit over here. It's
like I mean, they basically like spelled out the theme of the movie like a third or like at the last third of the movie.
Yeah,
but
she's like I'm trying to compromise.
Yeah, essentially during that whole blackmail scene,
which was really ridiculous. Like at what point? I'm wondering, how did the webcam record this? You know, was he recording himself doing that?
No, they said they hacked in. They hacked into it.
Yeah, the FBI can do that.
They just hack in and
yeah.
Oh no, I know they could, but I was like, I don't know. It was so sudden.
I think that was kind of a weak plot. I mean, like motive or a way they could have come up with some better ways. I think the whole blackmailing of the webcam thing was a little.
It seemed like they
weak.
just came up with that at the last minute.
Yeah,
because before
we need a motive.
Yeah, because before you had this entire scene where Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron are doing Molly, and they're just like freaking out and partying.
Mean, you could have literally had like someone release that information of her like being at a party or at the club.
Way better blackmail than
like,
this
oh look,
dude.
Here's the future president of the United States on drugs.
Yeah, like you have someone who's like infamous as like a Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi type of person. You think someone wouldn't have noticed that?
Yeah.
No.
Or you could have had someone see a photo of them having sex or kissing or making out or something, and that would have been more believable than this whole like, oh, the video is gonna.
There was even that agent. I think his name was like Agent M, who knew about it.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool that he was just like, good luck.
Very chill.
He wasn't like against it or anything, but he could have been the blackmail agent.
Yeah,
you know
I love the scene where she's trying to save the hostages, and she's on the phone with her glasses and the phone, and she's like, she's like out of it, and she just lights a cigarette and she sits on the phone. She's like, just talking to the guy, and she's got him like, I love this. She looks like tripped out. Like,
ladies and gentlemen, your next president of the United States.
She was sitting in a corner, and throughout the entire time, she had like confetti on
the
her
confetti,
hair.
Yeah, they
like,
nobody told her.
I was like, really? I guess when you have that kind of life, you have to go from one place or another really quickly. But
yeah,
I just noticed that entire time she still had the hair. She had the fucking t-shirt like over. Like, she tried to hide it with a trench coat, but, like, you can kind of tell.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you've definitely been out clubbing tonight. Oh, man. Let's talk a little bit more about the ending in just a minute. Let's take a quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. If you haven't already, please be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe.
This episode of Slacking Off is brought to you by Air. Try now for free.
So let's jump right back into it. We were talking about the blackmailing scene and how ridiculous it was that they chose to blackmail her using Seth Rogen's masturbation footage. When they could have just used her like in the multiple instances where she was tripping balls or having sex with him. So like what they actually decided to release the footage. And in a weird way, that's kind of what brings them together.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
What is this?
Because, the moment where she's on stage announcing her a run for presidency, I love how that scene was crafted because she's sitting there, she's giving a tailored speech that she didn't write, that she was designed saying what other people...
Didn't he write it?
He wrote it, yeah.
Fred write it?
That other people wanted her to say based off of the data that they reported not being herself. And then she just had that moment like, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care. I'm going to say what I want. And I just love at the end of it where she drops the mic. She goes off. And I feel like that moment, it's like she was trying to do the opposite of what a lot of politicians... She was speaking of herself, that most politicians don't. They have an entire team telling them how to be, how to act, how to live their life. So I think it was like, that was a great scene. It was written perfectly.
I think that was particularly earned because the entire time, Seth Rogen was kind of conditioning her to
be herself.
Be herself,
yeah.
Not just through his writing, because the entire time he tried to implement these personal anecdotes that she had, but also just kind of connecting with her, asking these sorts of personal questions like, "Hey, what movies have you seen?"
Yeah,
like that.
And she's like, "Oh, I haven't seen any. I've been reading the synopsis online."
Yeah. That, and I imagine that's what.
And then you notice throughout the film, as it progresses, she and this wasn't really a movie about Seth Rogen's character changing. It was more about her. He changes a little bit, in his writing, but he kind of he stays himself. It's all about her being open to like, I'm gonna kind of be myself. If people don't accept that, that's fine. But I'm tired of being told how to live, how to act, and who to love, most importantly. And I think one of my favorite scenes is, I forgot what country they were in, but she comes out of the elevator with her team wearing the red dress.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
about. And everything, she was in a room full of powerful and kind of dangerous people, country leaders, people that can bring that place that she wants to be. And there was that lighting. The production design was very dark. They were dancing a very romantic, dangerous dance, like I believe it was the tango. But you also see in that scene where her staff tells Seth Rogen's character to back off. Like, this is a place where she has to shake hands, meet people, and get out of here.
Yeah, it was like,
this isn't a place for
hours.
And this is the part where they're like, I know what's going on. But you also kind of see where they're passing a note, and he's like, I have a crush on you. And then they're not going to go dance out in front of everyone. They still kind of have to hide behind that doorway.
Yeah, he turns on music on a
But I love how the director and the creative team decided to use the red ballroom, red dress. Even the Canada's ambassador was wearing his little flag when they were dancing.
She's the one to watch,
Yeah,
all eyes are on
but
her.
there's all this danger in the room. So I thought that was a very good choice, for style.
I also really liked just that pull-out shot from when they were dancing behind the closed doors. And
Bravo
that
for
circular window.
The background PA to choreograph all that movement.
And it just pulled right out, and everybody was dancing around it. I thought that was really cool because it really showed that, in the truest of sense, her personal life is very separate from her professional life.
Right.
To the point where she has to hide it. Which I thought that was really, really cool right there. But I know in movies, characters that have chemistry, they often try and do some sort of a sex scene or whatever, and they kind of play off the joke in the movie that, oh, you two having sex behind the scenes with her assistant. But I just gotta say, in this movie, more than any other movie, this was the fastest sex scene I think I have ever seen. She was just like, yeah, you can go in. And literally 3 seconds later, oh my gosh, I'm about to come. And then they're just sitting there exhausted. Yeah, oh boy.
Credit to them. They at least established that sort of thing before the blackmail scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's fast and it says "oh boy" before he. God. Can't believe I'm giving credit to that fucking scene.
They linked it together. There was some artistic merit with that.
There's some level of good writing in this movie. I swear.
But no, I just had to point that out because in the middle of the theater, I was just like, that was, even for movies, I was like, that was really fast.
You know what scene I thought was very funny was the scene where he's with his after the whole the two break up. There's that slight we're done kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
After the fact that he's like, no, I'm not gonna change who I am. I like you so much. Essentially saying, if you can't respect me like this, if you can't accept me for who I am, like I'm just not the type of person to do change. I love the part where
you're talking about the scene
where she comes in.
Are you talking about after the blackmail scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Before the blackmail scene. Before the video's released. Yeah, where they decide to break up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the part where he after that scene he goes to his best friend's house.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, you're a Republican? And a Christian?
He's like, what do you think I wear this cross for? That was pretty funny. But it also highlighted a very important character flaw in Fred.
He's very judgmental.
He's extremely judgmental, one extreme or the other. There's no middle ground. His entire perception can change on somebody in a matter of seconds. Mm-hmm. The moment he finds out
something bad that he doesn't agree with. Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did with her.
It was another great way that the writers can help the audience relate, because we all know someone like that, or we know someone is like that,
Oh yeah, people that just flip over.
Yeah. Oh, you're this. You believe in that, so you're gonna. Oh,
I'm putting you in a box.
Yeah, I'm putting
defining
you in a box.
You must be like this. So, by the way, I just wanted to know: did you guys ever catch what that environmental initiative was really about? I just heard something about trees,
oceans, and
trees must die.
It's a really just generic thing that they establish. They just want to get that out of the way to establish this is her motivation.
Yeah.
To establish this has been her entire motivation since she was young, and that's her platform. I guess. That part wasn't the focus. It's the fact that she's been consistent on that since.
I just thought it was a little too unfleshed out. Literally, the president calls her and is like, "Hey, we got to talk about the trees." Mm-hmm. Like that's pretty much how.
I think it could have been a better. Way. I feel like there could have been different ways we could have hired Seth Rogen's character to be on her staff. I don't know her trying to save the environment. I know that's the big thing right now with people is we've got to save Earth, we got to save the environment, which I'm all for, and saving Mother Nature. But I feel like it could have been I'm beginning a movie, I'm releasing my candidacy for president, and this would have been a movie about them trying to win the election, because she wins it in the end of the movie, but I feel like this whole green initiative thing, there could have been other options for her plot.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It was very generic, something they were just like, oh, everybody can relate to. Saving the environment's got to be good.
Everyone's all about being green.
They got to be bad. Mm-hmm. There we go. But
there could have been a better policy topic, I feel like.
Probably. Oh. But
it's the only thing they can think about is hey, what is this one thing that young people could have sort of cared about but not really?
Trees.
trees. But
trees.
even then, the movie establishes that like teenagers don't really care about that much.
Yeah, that's right. That was pretty funny. There was that whole subplot thing where.
Well, also what's interesting is the head of that media company, right? Our villain. He, him talking about, I've been trying to get a meeting with you for months, but yet she hasn't established this initiative until after the party. And, we don't know what I don't think we did, right? We didn't know what her policy plan was.
For all we know, that wasn't what he even wanted to meet with her about.
Right. But see, if he's been trying to, that's just kind of confusing to me. Like, why it was kind of out of place. It didn't seem fit. I think he could have had we're trying to build it in Alaska or Antarctica.
Oh, that sort of thing.
I was like, that was just a line thrown in there that didn't really work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you mean like when she was talking with the president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he threw out the line is like, we need to have servers in this like protected land in Alaska, which was completely thrown in there.
Yeah, plenty of room for expansion.
But we need it in Alaska. It's like, okay,
why Alaska?
This is never hinted at.
Yeah, I kind of wish we had known why he wanted to meet with her a little before.
Yeah, because it was just kind of a running joke that he just wanted to meet with her.
Yeah.
We didn't know what about until super late. I kind of wish we had too. Because it's like, oh, well, clearly she has reasons for not wanting to meet with him, but we don't really know what they are. But I mean, with that being said, what do you think of the very end here, where she obviously becomes president, and he's the first
Mister?
First Mister. I'm like,
I
what
like
do you
his
call that?
painting. I love his
His painting was really great. You got all these like photos of all the first ladies, and then there's just him with like an eagle and ripped up clothes with the American flag.
I think it was fine. It was a happy ending. It worked out. Everything worked out. I think it was good.
That's basically what it was.
We still didn't find out who really killed JFK.
We will never.
It's not who you think.
Until someone becomes president in this room.
Cameron Messer's campaign. He's announcing it now. But
stay tuned.
What do you guys think? Do you think this is a watch, a skip?
If you're a fan of Seth Rogen, sure, go see the movie. Or you can wait till it's out on Netflix or any of the other streaming devices. If you like rom-coms, go see it. But you can either stay home or not, or go see it. It's a fun movie.
I will say that watching this movie, it does feel like Seth Rogen has progressed quite a bit since the last time he tackled anything resembling a political comedy.
What was his last one? The Interview?
I want to believe
Was it The Interview?
It was The Interview.
I feel like it was The Interview.
And
massive improvement, because we just watched it not too long ago.
We watched it a while ago, and it was definitely a massive improvement from that, because
that was a full speed political statement, and this one was like a soft undertone.
Yeah, which I guess might have been for the better, because rewatching The Interview, it was really messy in a lot of places.
Oh, yeah.
You had this entire thing about trying to expose and reveal the North Korean leader for who they are, but in between, you have these moments where you have like, yeah, shove this up your ass, and distract and try to get away from this tiger. It's like, what
are we watching?
Yeah, what were we watching? So
Dave.
in that regard, is a big progression from that.
I noticed Seth Rogen loves to use his same cast in his movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Found it very ironic how who was the actor who played Kim in The Interview?
I think it's Randall Park.
Was that the same Asian guy at the beginning?
He played the head of the newspaper.
Oh wow! I was looking at him and I was like, gosh, this guy looks really familiar. That must have been it.
Yeah, Randall Park.
Yeah, Randall Park plays a head of a newspaper.
He played Kim Jong-un in The Interview, and he played his boss in this movie. Which I've immediately noticed. Yeah.
Oh gosh. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I remember staring at him and I was like, why does this actor look so familiar?
A reporter in The Interview, or was he just a producer? I'm trying to remember.
I think it was just a reporter.
Which one?
In The Interview. Seth Rogen's character.
He was a reporter.
He was a
a reporter, and I forget. James Franco was like the host.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over the top
for-
So he likes
for a talk
playing
show.
these journalist type characters and reporters.
I
he
think
does
he-
always end up as some journalist.
I think he likes the idea of playing like this kind of,
It's his kind of way of playing, paying
journalist.
political statements. You
and
know?
somehow gets the girl.
It somehow gets the girl.
good writing can do anything.
I guess
Apparently.
good writing can offer.
I think it was actually better than the interview. In all honesty.
It is significantly better than the interview.
I
It
would
definitely
agree
has a
with
sort
that.
of. It definitely shows some sort of well-written character moments, and it really shows how much Seth Rogen has progressed both as an actor and as. Did he write this? I don't think he wrote this.
I don't think
But he
he- No.
directed this, but
Did he direct it?
I think he did, and I think if that was the case, then he's definitely progressed in that area. I will say though that outside of that sort of thing, like I said before, it definitely gets a little messy because sometimes those moments kind of get undercut by some crazy shit happening. Like they were having this intimate moment in like Vietnam or something like that, and suddenly there's like fucking fireball.
No.
Oh, yeah,
It,
then they
it
get,
was
like,
not
bombed.
directed
Yeah,
by
yeah.
him. It was directed by Jonathan Levine.
Okay, Jonathan Levine. Okay.
It's writers with Dan Sterling, Liz Hanna. Yeah, we're the two writers. So
Okay, well,
I think he just produced it
okay,
and
so
starred in
produced
it.
That
Okay.
makes sense. But that being said,
He's
do you,
done a lot of producing lately.
that doesn't surprise me. But what? So you think it would be worth seeing in theaters, or would you wait till Netflix?
I think if you're tired of watching Avengers, this is a pretty good palate cleanser.
You need a good laugh.
Yeah, I think for me it would be a Netflix watch.
Yeah, if you're other, yeah, I think it would just be a really good wait for Netflix type of thing, or like watch it for like a cheap matinee type of situation.
Yeah, I could see.
Or
it
if you go to a political rally and
if
need
you're
a
going
good
to
laugh.
a studio movie grill with Long Island's, then it's a definite recommendation. I think it would be a lot better if you had a little bit. It was longer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, how long was it? 2 hours?
It was 2 hours.
It's
yeah.
a little long for a comedy. I
Like,
mean,
there was a point where I was like, "Wow,
This movie isn't over.
yeah." I was kind of expecting it to wrap up. I thought it would be like an hour 40.
I think part of it is that third act. That's what. The third
Yeah.
act. That's what made it feel long.
Mm,
Like
yeah,
like from the blackmail scene onwards. You know.
yeah, because it was kind of like some fluff.
It felt like fluff, and it felt like the movie was over beforehand.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
well, that being said, I think let's wrap it up here. Seems like a fun time. Probably worth a Netflix watch, or if you just want that palate cleanser after Avengers, go see it.
By the way, I do find it funny how even though this movie is going to be releasing against Avengers, they mention those movies a lot.
They did, yeah.
they showed him
To
too.
the point where they even like watched one of those movies.
What was that? A Russian?
Yeah, didn't they
They-
make a
Sam-
joke? You haven't
Sam
seen
Jackson?
the MCU?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
South
the
Africa was like,
pirate
"Yeah,
guy."
You should have seen it, and they saw it in Russian, and then they also talked about Game of Thrones too.
Right, they did.
They even showed Game of Thrones, so they're just like trying to bandwagon this shit in a very transparent way. It's like, hey guys, we have Avengers and Game of Thrones here too. Come watch us.
Yeah. Hey, where's Fortnite? That's all they needed.
Okay,
Marketing
we don't have,
scheme.
We don't have that time.
It's a marketing scheme for those two studios that make Game of Thrones and the MCU. Oh, here, put these in here. It'll help promote us. Just release it in the same time.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
This episode is brought to you by Sand, best experienced with salty water.
So let's talk about the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer that came out earlier this week.
Everyone have their drink. They're gonna need it.
Well,
No,
first,
you need to be sober for this.
oh yeah, no, we must have strict judgment on this.
But it's so painful.
How so? In what way, Cameron?
The moment they greenlit the thing.
Oh, ouch, ouch. I mean, I was a
Which is-
big Sonic fan back in the day, so I was really excited to hear that they were
Was?
doing this movie. Yeah, was the key word there.
Uh-huh.
I was very excited, but after seeing this trailer,
But
I
some games should just stay video games. Like some characters should stay video games and should not be made into movies.
Mm-mm.
And this trailer shows that. I mean, it's not just. I understand the whole thing. Is I know fans are upset about the Hedgehog. Not even Sonic, because that's not anything any close to Sonic. But it looks like a film that belongs straight to DVD, Disney Channel $5 bin.
Jeez.
Well, let's talk about like what's actually in the trailer.
Yeah, so what I think is what it seems to be about is that Sonic somehow is not from our world.
Mm-hmm.
He ran stupid fast one day
Mm-hmm.
and like transported it to our world, causing some giant nationwide blackout.
Mm-hmm.
And the military had to get involved, and they needed to hire Dr. Eggman
Mm-hmm.
to track down this creature, and he's apparently a little nuts, and they were hesitant to use him. That's what
Played
it
by
seems
Jim
to be.
Carrey.
Yeah, played by Jim Carrey. Who he's coming out of retirement.
He's
for
not
this.
Just for
really.
this.
Just for this. No, he was kind of in retirement because I believe.
He took a break. He didn't fully retire.
Well, either way, the
He was
story
trying to
is
find
that
himself, from my understanding.
He was trying to find himself, so he took to painting and drawing for that. So I'm surprised that somehow they managed to get him back into acting for this.
Well, no, he had a movie before this. He had a movie.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a Netflix film. I'm trying to remember, but he just did a movie that came out before this. So
Oh,
he's-
really?
yeah.
Okay, so he's coming back.
Is it that documentary?
No, it's
I was
not.
thinking-
It's not a documentary. He plays this. I can't think of the name of the movie. Hold on, because he didn't retire.
I mean, it seems like appropriate casting. Yeah. I mean,
See, I don't know about that part.
Kidding.
What was it? Kidding.
Yeah, he just did a TV
Oh.
series.
That okay. I've heard a bit about that.
is he like the
before.
star?
Yeah, he's the main
Yeah.
star.
Mm,
Yeah, okay.
okay.
But for the most part, he hasn't really.
Yeah, the last thing before that was 2006.
Yes, he's
That was his
basically,
last
he's
movie.
basically coming out of retirement to play Dr. Eggman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I was retired and they were like, "Yo, you want to play Dr.
Yeah,
Eggman?"
but
I'd
isn't-
probably come back.
Isn't
But
the doctor
that's
supposed to be a
because-
little more, you know?
He's supposed to be pretty fat.
He's
yeah,
supposed to be
I mean, couldn't
big.
this be more Danny DeVito playing this character than anyone?
Well, that would come. Well, we would have another problem then, which
He-
Robotnik would be short.
He's
either
not
way you-
short. He's pretty tall. In the
Yeah, either way, you can't really win. He would be.
Oh, and John
Sonic's
Candy's
size.
dead, so we can't use him.
No,
I mean, I think it could have been way worse.
like it could have been worse. It could have been Jim Carrey in a fat suit, and that would have been very characteristic of Jim Carrey's roles, but not necessarily in a good way.
Well, let me ask you guys this: what's your history with Sonic the Hedgehog?
I
as a
remember
franchise.
playing it on the last time I played them was on the Sega system that you had the cartridge and you
Oh,
had to
the
put it
old
on the
Genesis cartridge. So
Yeah.
you played like original Sonic.
I played the original, 2D.
Okay.
It was
okay.
just, and you would just go in the loops, and you had the doctor, right, and he'd have his little machine with the drill on the front of it.
Yeah.
I
That was
played
Sonic
those ones.
2.
I think I maybe played one on the Sega where he was on the disc.
Sonic CD.
Yeah.
So you can tell
once.
I'm the Sonic nerd here.
CD?
Sonic CD was
No,
a
I'm
thing.
talking about like really that you played on that one.
Huh?
Is that the one you played?
Yeah, and the one that the old cartridges that you put on the top of the
Okay.
Sega. That was it. That's how I know Sonic.
Okay, so you haven't seen like or played any other games or
Nope.
anything since. What about you?
Nope, and I've
JP?
heard negative things.
They've been okay.
I played some of his old Genesis games. It was mostly a friend that had his Sega Genesis. I was more of a Nintendo kid back then, so I played some of that, and that was pretty much like my best memories of Sonic. Because at that point, I just didn't really care about him or his games. Like I tried Sonic Adventure, for like a little bit, and even then I thought this doesn't seem right because I was like, even if I barely touched the controller, like you have that whole loop-de-loop,
Mm-hmm.
but it's in 3D now. But like even if you slightly touch the controller, he just goes flying, and I'm like, okay, fuck this. And my opinion of him has not gotten better until Sonic Mania, which came out a few years ago. That was
Yes.
really good.
Well, let me ask you guys: Sonic, is it always been the same villain trying to catch Sonic, stop Sonic, and Sonic trying to stop him over and over again? Same thing with like, is that how Sonic continues to be?
Pretty much. Okay, so like I'm the biggest
So
Sonic
it's like the
fan
Ninja
here.
Turtles and
Shredder.
That can't I feel like this film I'm gonna get very bored with.
Well, before we touch on that, I'll give you a little bit of backstory as to kind of what has happened with the character over a little bit, because he's had an interesting run.
He needs
This is not the
pants.
first Sonic movie.
Mm-hmm.
They did have an animated Sonic movie back in the 90s featuring Metal Sonic. It was not very good. The voice was really weird, but I watched it a lot as a kid. So I grew up with the character, playing a lot of the games like Sonic Adventure. I've played through most of the classics, Sonic Mania. I've played pretty much every Sonic game under the sun, with the exception of some of the obscure ones. So I have a pretty good understanding of the universe and what this character is supposed to be like.
The universe.
The Sonic universe.
Sonic
With
universe.
one villain.
Well,
that was his main villain.
Yeah, Robotnik's kind of like his main villain. There have been others.
It's like the Batman with Joker. The Joker is the one that people remember the most.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
And like the main issue I've always had with the Sonic games is that they lack a story to tell. The story is usually very shallow, with
Right.
a couple of exceptions. And translating that to a movie kind of worried me.
I mean,
Well, I mean, and then we have this. Does Sonic ever have a human friend like this character that's introduced in the movie, the State Trooper?
not in the movies.
In the TV show Sonic X.
Oh, in the TV
There-
show, I was talking.
There's
about
a
the games,
human
too.
friend?
There's a Pandora's box that was open for that. You know what I'm talking about.
Sonic 06.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
You're the one that
But
fucking plays that game.
I forgot about
Is there a
Sonic
human
06.
friend that
Oh,
he's?
He was romantically
Oh,
involved with a lady in
yeah.
one of the video games. A human lady.
friend.
A friend.
That's illegal. Very
That's a very-
illegal.
That's a very good response to that.
Very illegal.
We don't even know how old Sonic
And
is.
disgusting.
He's underage.
I'm not even. I understand. Like your diehard fans are going to be are super mad. That's a given. That's why the director came out with his statement.
Well, before
Oh,
we
yeah,
talk about what
yeah,
they're
we
going
need
to
to-
change,
Well, hold. Let me finish this. I understand why people. You're gonna have diehard fans. Like I'm a diehard fan for certain things that are mad about the way Sonic looks. I'm more mad about the overall look of the entire film. It just looks bad.
Yeah.
It
well,
looks like a very low budget TV Disney movie.
It does. But I do think we should get to address the elephant in the room, which is Sonic's design.
it's oh god, they went for like a Detective Pikachu-ish realistic look, but
That's an insult to Detective Pikachu.
well, the style that they're trying to do, there's a big difference though,
Mhm.
and I think we even briefly talked about this last night.
Yeah, we were on the car ride.
The
from
big
home.
difference that Detective Pikachu did right, where I think the Sonic movie fails at, is they looked at the original concept art for these characters and made sure that all these little details were really similar to the cartoon version.
Mhm.
Whether that be the way the ears lay, the tail, how it's spiked up, all of that. They just made them
They also did. They spent 2 years in research. I looking at real animals.
For Detective Pikachu? That's kind of crazy, actually. Yeah, I don't think 2 years of research went into this, but the
More like 2 hours.
the biggest problem I have with the character design is that the proportions are not right.
Mhm.
Everything from his eyes, like Sonic has these very big ovalish eyes, and they're circular here, and it throws off the design. His belly's not white. I can get away with that. His legs are just humanoidly long and weird.
Well,
It just
and
doesn't
here's the thing.
match.
I have a feeling that the team behind Detective Pikachu geared its audience as the true hardcore fans of Pokemon, the original Pokemon. Maybe there's some characters from the new one, but I feel like it's really geared more to the original Pokemon. Whereas Sonic, I don't think their target audience was the true fans from back, the games that I played in the early on games. I think it was more geared towards just kids and family and friends. The way it looks, it definitely looks like they're like, we're just making a family friendly.
They're just trying to hit every audience. I can see.
Yeah.
that.
I think if they did though, they would have remained closer to the original Sonic design because he had a sort of Mickey Mouse as kind of look to him because
That's
he
a
had the
good way of
gloves
putting
and all
it.
that.
Yeah.
That was a major that's a major key design that Sonic's original designers took from Mickey Mouse.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that the Pokemon fans that the Detective Pikachu team made, they were gearing it towards those fans. I think the Sonic ones were just like, we're making this character essentially, we're making this movie, and we're trying to gear it towards kids, and kids aren't going to really pay attention.
So what you're saying is their expectation was that kids will watch it anyway?
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're not
I
going to
don't
get the
know. Not with
backlash.
that
They're-
creepy design.
That I get. Well, I think the entire creepiness is because they just didn't give a shit and they were just like this character like
and then
like-
and then the studios heard the backlash.
yeah. Well, thankfully they listened, but I don't know. Let's talk about his power set that they kind of showed off because they showed some interesting abilities I haven't really seen.
I mean he goes fast.
That's all he does.
That's what Sonic
he goes
does
fast.
in the games, but now they're adding this like flash lightning element to the character. There's that scene in the trailer where he's like on the road and he's like gotta go fast.
Oh, and
then he takes off and there's like lightning and shit. His hairs are electrically charged, or his quills, whatever they are.
So what you're saying
It's blue
is
Flash.
essentially Sonic, the character, is the pet of the Flash.
He's like Blue Flash.
No, he's Flash's pet.
I think he'd
He's
be a good
he's an
pet.
animal. He's a pet.
You could say that. But it's weird. It's weird how they gave him this like lightning element when. Do you guys know why Sonic is able to run so fast?
Mutation.
No.
He's mutated.
It's his fucking shoes. This sounds like
So
bullshit.
take away his shoes and he can't do
shoes-
shit.
His shoes were were designed by Dr. Robotnik. I think there was some magic bullshit involved to make somebody go stupid fast. Sonic got these shoes, put them on, and then he could run stupid fast.
Where'd you get this from?
Where did I get it?
So
Yes. Where'd you get this
You can look it
information
up. I've known this for years.
from? Okay, you can look it up. Okay.
If I find the source, I'll throw it in the description.
So
but,
you're
like,
telling me that the Doctor, or his main villain, could literally catch him, put him asleep, right? Catch him while he's sleeping, untie his shoes, take off his shoes, and that's the end of his whole thing.
pretty much. It's his shoes.
We could have
He
solved this
never
whole
takes
Sonic
off
pe-
his
I
shoes.
hope we never see a shot of that.
Like
But you see, that's a major character flaw. You can
he
take
was
away
a
his.
character made in the 90s.
There's
He
no
wasn't
excuse.
supposed
They
to
could have had a
depth.
better. It could have been better.
They were just like Sonic's more badass than Mario. That's all
His
you need to know.
shoes. It's just his shoes. That's it. I take his shoes off and
I mean,
problem
look,
solved. Movie.
I don't
end,
know if they've
video game
retconned
franchise
it
ended.
since then, but that's the original reason why Sonic is able to run so fast. And his quills can apparently make them spikier at will. Otherwise, it's just his hair, and that's why when he rolls up into a ball, he's able to destroy things because he can make his quills spiky. That's the Sonic power set for you.
Now I noticed at the beginning of the trailer, Paramount, who produced the studio it's coming through, it did the little
The rings,
spaghetti-o ring looking things.
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, but I wonder if they're going to be in the movie. I hope they're not in the movie.
Wait, what?
The little
The rings?
The rings.
Well, that's how he stays alive. Rings give Sonic power. In the comics,
Oh.
they give him.
But in
super
the
speed.
movie, that's gonna be that's gonna be really really bad. Is it gonna be in a box of cereal every
They're
morning?
all
Reportedly in the-
power rings, and they're in the games. They're everywhere because they're a mechanic to keep you alive. In the Sonic universe, they're not like
But
everywhere.
how are they gonna be used in the movie? I'm
I
wondering.
could have sworn the trailer did some like use the rings as some Doctor Strange type of shit.
Yeah, it was like some warp
He threw
thing.
he threw a ring and then they warped to like some different place. Whoever these fucking characters are.
Mobius.
Oh, God.
It's a fucking dimension called Mobius, I believe.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that one. I'm not 100%
So I
sure.
wonder, is this a thing where Sonic is trying to get back home like E.T.?
Probably. Maybe Sonic broke the space-time continuum when he just hauled ass.
And the
that seems
state
to be
trooper
what happened.
has to get him.
Yes, that seems to be it because he caused a blackout, and now you know us in the military. The moment something lands that we don't understand,
So what is
shit.
the
It's
doctor's?
like Man of Steel, but with a hedgehog.
What's the doctor's motivation? Has it changed behind this? Why is he after this guy? Why is he after Sonic?
Look, in the movie, probably because he's getting paid for it. In the comic.
In the comic.
In the comics and the games, his original motivation was he was making machines, like weaponized machines, out of animals. And he would capture these like animals, like birds
He's
and
an
rabbits
X-Men.
and shit. He would turn them.
He's an X-Men.
He would turn them into robots, and Sonic escaped with those shoes. And now he had the power to destroy the robots and free the animals, and that's why in the Sonic games that you used to play, when you finish a stage and you jump on the thing, you'd release the animals because you were freeing them from prison. Yeah, it's as ridiculous as it sounds. But look, it was the 90s. So the only thing I can think of that this plot is going to revolve around is that it said in the trailer, every hero has a genesis. So Sonic has had these powers. It's probably not going to be for the same reason. He hauled ass, accidentally ended up in our world because he ran too fast. The military, it caused some blackout, so the military is going to be like, oh, we got to stop it. Or hiring a crazy dude like Dr. Robotnik to do it, who's going to be unhinged and out of their control. And Sonic's going to have to step up and be the hero.
For like no reason.
Just because he's there.
Just because it's Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
This movie could potentially get a Razzie before it's even out.
Yeah. Well, not to mention they okay, this is my problem with all super speed characters, and the Flash TV show plays off of this like crazy. If Sonic can haul ass at like 300 plus miles an hour, or in the trailer 760 was the number on the screen. If he can go at 760 miles per hour, this hedgehog has some killer reflexes. So why the fuck in the trailer do they shoot him with a tranquilizer and he cannot react to the tranquilizer and move out of the way? And even later on in the trailer, when there are missiles flying at his ass, he is surrounded by missiles. He can move so fast that he stands there while time is still, counting how many steps he's taken. But he can't dodge a tranquilizer. Do you see what I'm getting at here?
I didn't even know,
Or the fact that
notice
he's
because everything else in this trailer seems
Sonic
so
says
wrong.
he says meow when he first gets seen.
Oh yeah, he
I
turned
guess
meow?
he's a cat.
showing his freakish human teeth and lips.
Oh, gosh.
Did you notice that? I think
Yes.
it's hard to notice personally.
If you
He looks like a weird Smurf.
That's what this. Yeah, there you go. There you go. But imagine that, but like Photoshop him so he has like the fucking blue quills.
Ugh.
Oh,
That's
God.
Sonic.
It's really
I'm
bad.
telling you, like, you've got to stop making video game movies.
No. They just gotta give a shit about the ones that they're making.
No, you can't, because it's just all about money.
Here's the thing: Detective Pikachu, was that ever a video game?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Detective Pikachu specifically was a video game.
Yes, it was on the 3DS. And it came out, I think, a year or two ago.
I think so.
It's not that old. It's a relatively new thing. But apparently Detective Pikachu's good. We'll find out and judge it ourselves. But, I mean,
Yeah.
none of us have played it. We don't know the source material. Everybody knows who Sonic is. And everybody who has seen this looks at it and says, that's not my Sonic.
That's not anyone's Sonic.
Yeah, not to mention that there's even the joke where he's like, they put Sonic in a bag for God knows what reason. Sonic's in a fucking bag. Is that your child in that bag? Oh no, it's not my child. All I wanted to do was substitute the lines over the trailer. Is that your Sonic in that bag? Oh no, this isn't my Sonic in that bag. And just
This is someone's Sonic, but it's not my Sonic.
it's not my Sonic.
That I'm stuffing in the bag.
And I'm suffocating.
Yeah,
Like,
suffocating the Sonic for the good of mankind.
oh gosh.
I don't know.
Let's take a quick break. When we
Well-
come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this trailer.
Are we gonna talk more about this?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Please be sure to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. We'll be right back.
The Slacking Off Show is sponsored by Air. Try now for free.
Who do you think is this little kid?
Who?
This guy who shot Sonic with the tranquilizer that he's stuck with. Who do you think is
I
this
thought
guy?
he was stuck with the trooper.
That wasn't a trooper, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the trooper
Oh, there was a
found
trooper.
him.
Oh, see, that's how appalled we were that we lost all detail.
I'm not sucking here. With
I didn't
you,
know
you're
there was.
sucking here
Was
with
there a
me.
kid? Was there a kid in the movie, or
thought
is
it
it
was
just
a
a
kid.
state trooper?
No, it was just the state trooper guy, played by I think it was like James Marsden or
Oh,
something like that. Yeah, who
That's
hasn't
weird.
been in a lot of good things recently.
Oh,
I could probably look it up, but yeah, this guy is probably gonna get the worst.
I wonder if they had somebody sitting there. Like, I wonder how they made this. Did they have them just voice over all the lines and just CG insert Sonic afterwards?
That's how it usually goes with
Yeah.
this type of stuff. They usually insert the CGI after, like they put the stand-in out and then
Mhm.
CGI the character after.
yeah.
That's what they did with Rocket.
I know when they
Mm.
they record the actors. They give them like 10 different variations of each line or something like that.
God, I hope Sonic and this actor have.
I don't
good
know how they
chemistry.
picked Meow.
I feel like it was a stupid way of him trying to convince them he's a cat. I mean, Sonic's snarky. Not all of Sonic's jokes land.
Mm-hmm.
That was exceptionally bad.
I would you see. Here's the thing. I would have them rather than put like a CGI, more designed looking Sonic that looks true to the video game put in our world.
That's what
Wait,
we've been
his
saying.
height changed. Going off of that, his height changed in the trailer. Remember when he was in the car?
No.
There was a scene where he's in the car seat and he's like small in the seat, but then he's standing up and he's like almost as tall as this dude.
No.
Sonic is 3 feet tall.
You see what I'm saying? Like if they had mirrored like an actual character that didn't look like an animal in
Yeah.
terms of that. Like his design looked like he would look in the game, but in our world.
See,
That's
that
what we've
that
been
was what I was
saying,
about to
yeah.
ask. Is would you guys just have preferred?
Because
them
right
to
now
take-
I get this Alvin and the Chipmunk feel.
You know,
I forgot all about that. Because like, I don't think it would be too bad to have like a CG version of Sonic
Yeah.
in the movie. I think it would look better than this.
it would have been only slightly better.
I think the issue is they looked at the design and said, well, look at everything's coming out. All these movies that have like the Lion King, it looks like an actual animal. The Detective Pokemon look like actual animals. Like Pikachu looks like has the detail that looks like an animal.
But Sonic isn't
But-
really an animal.
No, he's not. But see, that's my point. Is
I
that
see.
you can't and that's why the creators of Pokemon, Detective Pikachu, looked at real life animals. You know, Sonic's not that in a way. He was never designed to kind of look like an animal. He was designed to look like a futuristic looking,
An exaggerated
Okay.
cartoon. He's like Mario. Mario
Yeah.
is basically a cartoon human.
Yeah.
But it's just a little bit different when you have a humanoid hedgehog.
Yeah.
And I guess when you put it that way,
A more plastic feel. You know how like in
Yeah,
the game
yeah.
his fur is plastic, like all smooth.
it doesn't look like real fur.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I would have preferred that, His CGI rendering doesn't look as crisp as what the other movies quality is coming out of. It looks like they didn't finish rendering
Do
him
you
out.
think maybe I just had a thought. Do you think maybe this was an early design for the character and that they intentionally put this bad design out to get publicity for the movie? Because if the director says that they're changing it in like 6 months, every frame of this movie where Sonic is in it, which I'm assuming is a majority of the movie, basically has to be redesigned. It's not going to get done in 6 months. If they pull it off, I think this was a marketing stunt.
I don't think they did that because they mentioned in a statement that redesigning him isn't going to be easy. So, I mean, and that would have been a really bad risk. I mean, you potentially could get into the point where if they release another trailer, you could, and he's still not up to par. You're gonna have people who are not gonna go to the movie at all. You may have people who've seen this trailer and don't want to go to it because they don't trust the director and his team anymore at all. I don't think it was a marketing thing. I think they released and they got a backlash so bad that the studio said we could lose millions of dollars if we don't fix this now.
I wonder how much Sega was involved with this.
Probably not a whole lot.
Yeah, I feel like they weren't.
They just called and said fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that type of thing where Sega is probably just doesn't really care that much. They were just looking for the paycheck. But
Toy sales though.
The whole publicity, no, those toys aren't going to sell.
They could.
This whole publicity stunt, I think, would be a huge waste of time and money just for that. And I think even then, it still wouldn't like fix a lot of the things that this trailer showed, which is that this movie overall just doesn't seem very good. Like the whole idea of a fish out of water type of story, combined with a buddy cop comedy type of story. It's just very dull, and like the only thing that really stands out is ironically Sonic.
Yeah. And this movie got backlash as soon as the poster came out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because they were trying to be coy about what Sonic looked like, but even then people could still tell there's something wrong with this Sonic.
There's something wrong here. Okay.
I feel like they just made this movie. They were like we have this character. Oh, Detective Pikachu came out. People are releasing characters that, you know, you had the Tomb Raider game movie come out. Let's just release a movie, you know. So, I mean, I think it needed a little more time and development, and the fans aren't happy. The true fans.
No, I mean, my only other thing that I'm gonna bring up is I don't think that this story needs to have the military involved almost immediately.
But you have to make this realistic, man. You gotta make Sonic realistic. You have to
but if
connect
it's
to
realistic, you
to
don't
the
hire
Hollywood
a mad genius.
audience. Hollywood doesn't understand things like cartoons and video games. What are that? That's beneath them, who makes millions of dollars making stupid decisions. You have to make Sonic realistic. You have to get the American military into this shit.
Do you think we're gonna see military in Detective Pikachu?
Probably.
Because I feel like Hollywood
Probably.
finds any
Or the
excuse to
FBI.
throw
You'll
the
have
military
some
into
police
anything.
force.
Because the military does a lot of funding for productions. Because they were like, well, Sega's not gonna help out.
There'll be some elite force or something like that. Special force.
That's probably Robotnik's role. Being
Yeah,
that
he
special
is.
force.
Our
He is the
Team
special
Rocket.
force.
Oh, for
Show
Detective
up.
Pikachu.
Rendering Jesse's hair.
Who would play that?
Oh, who knows?
The main too.
I just want to know how they would get that hair, that ridiculous hair.
CGI the rest.
The CGI the hair.
Yeah, just like half of it just be like a slight sweep back, just like make sure it's all put together with plaster. CGI the rest.
So we're still gonna
those
go
are
see
my
this
thoughts
movie
with
though,
Sonic.
right?
What?
We're still gonna go see this, right?
I'm gonna get like a movie membership because I don't want to pay for it.
We gotta do this shit early in the morning because I don't want to pay for like later.
I
Sonic
don't
the
either.
drinking game.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
drink early in the morning.
Gotta
Just for
drink
Sonic.
fast.
Every time there's a stupid line or
Oh yeah,
someone
that's
looks
the, that's the first thing. That's the first line in this fucking trailer. Gotta go fast. It's like, hey kids, do you remember this line?
Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast.
You like the movie now, right?
Yeah, God. Yes.
I get like Sonic's always been like a super popular character. You know,
do you think
Just-
it's gonna be better than the Mario Brothers movie?
that's
Yes.
that's what I was about to say.
Anything.
That's what I was about to say. Sonic is such a popular character.
They're next. I wonder if they're gonna get a
Specifically
remake.
because he's such a brilliant counter to Mario, and it was bound to happen in all this merchandising and sort of multimedia franchising that they've done over the years. They were bound to have their own Super Mario Brothers movie.
You know, it was. You remember when the
was
Sony
announced?
hack happened? The Sony hack happened like a couple of years ago with the emails and shit. The Sony Pictures hack. They were in talks. Sony Pictures was in talks with Nintendo to make an animated Mario movie, and it got pretty far along before it got.
And then
apps.
Illumination. Got
Yeah,
the rest of that.
but it was all. It almost happened,
Mhm.
which I thought would have been really interesting.
No, what I was saying is like they were bound to happen their own version of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
Still could.
hopefully,
I think it's going to happen in November.
hopefully it's at least a little bit better. Than
Straight to
I
DVD.
don't know about
That. Well,
that.
we'll probably all be drunk by the time we do that review.
Probably.
Anyways,
Because, oh Jesus Christ! What do you guys?
Wait.
what do you guys think about Jim Carrey as Robotnik? Because I think despite all of this, we haven't really
I don't.
talked about the other major.
well, the
characters.
joke is that Jim Carrey will carry the movie online right now. I don't know about that.
I mean,
don't
he
think
is the
he's-
most famous actor in that movie. He's
Yeah, but-
probably the highest paid. I mean, I'm sad to say that like he's the only reason why I am remotely interested in seeing this movie. I don't even care about Sonic.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
He is
call
the-
it Dr. Robotnik.
He's
movie.
the I mean, I guess he portrays the character well, but I don't know. I don't
think
think
it is fine. I think he's just a little more of an asshole than Robotnik is in the games. He's kind of a smart aleck, but he's not like that bad in the games. But he is a kid-friendly character.
He's obnoxious because of his intelligence.
Yeah.
The Robotnik. Jim Carrey.
I'm glad to see Jim Carrey back on screen.
Are you though?
Yeah, I like Jim Carrey. I like his movies.
Okay. It's just is seeing Jim Carrey do his thing. It reminds me of the Grinch movie.
Oh,
That was an awful
oh
movie.
it does.
That was an awful movie. Oh my god!
Oh,
I'm getting
man.
flashbacks to that.
I remember the night I saw that in theaters.
Just replace green with blue.
I
That's what you gotta do. You got a recipe for a shitty movie.
think at the end when they teased that, like his actual costume, I thought it looked fine. Like it
That
was,
looked okay.
It looked fine, but
but like the fact that at some point they have to get there, because right now you have like Jim Carrey doing his best Freddie Mercury impression.
He does. I know in the trailer he does go bald eventually.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah, like at the very end, he had the bald, he had the bald hair or lack of hair, and then big ass mustache.
God, I think his performance will be fine. That's not really what I'm worried about. I think if your main character is not appealing from a visual standpoint,
At least get the villain.
yeah, at least get him, because otherwise, that's it. The only reason people are excited to see Dr. Robotnik is because Jim Carrey's playing it.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the character.
Mhm.
You know, people care about Sonic, so they have to get that right. Otherwise, I'm going to be very drunk and very unhappy when that movie is over.
Oh man, whoever, I think whoever was calling you before, I think it would have been wise to pick that up instead of talking about this.
Probably, but I mean, I think we're about done. We've talked about Sonic for a little bit, but
We talked too much about Sonic.
yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's our thoughts. If you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. We release new videos every week, and yeah, be sure to share, like, and favorite. Have a good one.